You want to abolish the federal...
Don't assume it was left by accident. If you see something, say something.
Takes a question from David Rockefeller.
Vice President, I just enjoyed so much your whole speech, but I was particularly pleased that you gave such a strong endorsement for the free trade agreement for all the Americans, subject that has been of great concern to me for many years, and particularly recently, and I think it's absolutely essential for the strength of our economy.
Good afternoon, this is We Are Change with Howard Nema, and you're listening to InformedRadio.com. If you have any opinions on any subject and that you'd like to speak about, or if you would just like to gripe about how our rights are being taken away and every day and the prisons are filling up with people that are doing victimless crimes, being overfined, police becoming revenue generators, give me a call, 772-905-3018. This is We Are Change. This is where the news, the controlled mainstream media ignores the top story, and your voice is heard. You can also follow us on wearechange.org, and of course the homepage is wearechange.connecticut.org, and you can watch rebroadcasts at youtube.com/Freedom First Films. I had the privilege, again, I said this yesterday, of attending an Agenda 21 meeting, an anti-Agenda 21 meeting in Southington, Connecticut yesterday. Actually, it was on Wednesday. And it was the Oath Keepers and the John Birch Society. And I found it to be extremely informative and knowledgeable. There were some public figures there. In fact, Martha Dean was there, who would run for Attorney General, who revealed the fact that nationwide, of course, this is no news to the truth people that are awake, that DCF is kidnapping children from their families and causing all sorts of disruptions and illegal costs and really doing terrible things. The DCF is nationwide. They kidnap children and literally take them away from good homes for various fraudulent reasons. Again, a judge had been caught in Pennsylvania with the juvenile court of being, well, he actually was convicted, and he took $2 million from a private prison that needed to keep the population up so that they wouldn't lose their state grant. This is the same state of Connecticut that hired Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, to spy on the people. This is also the same state of Pennsylvania, I should say. I'm saying Pennsylvania. The state of Pennsylvania also, unfortunately, gave the children, oh, this is a great thing, give the impoverished children in the drug communities and other areas, you know, where they know that there's drug usage, where the CIA have brought the drugs in. I can go into this over and over again. Gary Webb revealed the fact that crack epidemic was started by the CIA. This is on record. You can read his book. It's called Dark Alliance, where the CIA actually did start the crack cocaine epidemic. You have to understand our government is behind the drug war. The drug war is the kind of war that goes on forever and never ends. And the people that are the victims are not only the people that use the drugs, but the people that, because they're using them, because it's really not a good thing to do drugs, ladies and gentlemen. But it is your right, and as a libertarian, I see that, you know, drugs should be legal, because if you wish to do drugs, you shouldn't have. It's a constitutional right. It is not something that should be criminalized, because all it does is cause criminal behavior. It really is all a wide conspiracy, and I'd like to talk about it. Actually, I did plan on talking about Agenda 21 and eugenics. And I will. I mean, 2 hours, we have enough time here to speak. But give me a call if you have any opinions on anything. Again, it's 772-905-3018. What I'd like to say about this whole situation with the drugs, I mean, you have to understand that most of the people that are in prison by the system, you know, they say, oh, the blacks are in prison, it's 80%. Yeah, they target these minority areas, like in Pennsylvania, and they give their impoverished children laptop computers. Oh, what a beautiful thing. Thank you so much. That's such freedom to give me this laptop computer. you know, and I can learn and do all of this. But what they didn't tell you is that it had software in it that actually was watching and had camera on it, and was actually watching and recording audio of the children's behavior at home with their parents and in their own private bathrooms or wherever they happen to have their bedrooms, wherever they had their computers. Now again, I always speak the truth. This is where truth is heard. This is where news the controlled mainstream media ignores the top story. And this is on record. But they don't continue to repeat it. They report it, everybody forgets about it, goes back to, like, you know, the soccer mom thing and American Idol, and forgets about these mountainous things that are continuing on a daily basis. I mean, now again, I'm just a little off track from where I wanted to start, but Pennsylvania is a good place to go. Now, Martha Dean had mentioned this, about this case, and I was so happy that she ran for Attorney General. Of course, the political machine in Connecticut is strong, and it's very left-oriented. Again, this false left-right paradigm, folks, you got to understand that the Rockefeller Foundation funded basically through all of their connections, fund the opposition that they have. So, for example, the Green Movement, which is why I'm going to be segueing into Agenda 21. Earth Day, 1970, okay? That was when it sort of really was starting to flourish. Now, remember, the CIA created the drug war. The CIA created the drug culture. The CIA, this is on record, funded the Byrds, the band The Byrds. And this is on record that the electric Kool-Aid acid test, Ken Kesey's book and his journey, he was supplied the LSD to go around to all the colleges and all the communities around, basically around the entire United States, to turn people on and give it to them, and they take it where they go, and it turned into a culture. They created an aquarium from which that they could. Again, part of it was for mind control, because they wanted the people on drugs, they want people not paying attention to what's really going on. I mean, look at the mainstream media. Think about the mainstream media, everybody. I mean, what do they tell you? I mean, they don't, you know, it's just unbelievable. They're teleprompter readers that are fed from Reuters and other sources, and maybe they have somebody in their office that's actually deciphering the information that they're receiving. Boil hard journalism, real muckraking journalism is dead in the mainstream. That's why the alternative media is here, because they don't tell you these things. They don't show you all the truth that's going out there. They don't show you the meetings where people are objecting to Agenda 21. They just show you how everything's good to be green and be green, and all these celebrities, you know, driving Priuses and all of this this absolute malarkey about, you know, like, let's be real, everybody. Yesterday I reported that Libya gave its people free electricity. Now you're saying, well, that's because they're a wealthy, oil-rich country. No. It's because they don't have a central bank that's been stealing from them for 100 years, bankrupting them, stealing from every American's paycheck every week, not realizing the American people better wake up. This is just, it makes me so angry that this Federal Reserve system is absolutely a debt slave system that everybody just accepts and deals with, and you know, they complain about their taxes, and you know, if you don't pay the IRS, boy, you're in trouble. It's beyond trouble. They don't fool around. They'll take your house. They'll do everything that's outside of the Constitution. They are an unconstitutional organization. They are a Gestapo. They are the Gestapo arm of the Rothschild-Rockefeller alliance with the Federal Reserve. Now, this alliance has with it, it's called the Anglo-American Empire. Now, what it has with it is something called the Round Table. Now, the Round Table, for anyone out there that's not familiar with it, is what's considered the think tanks and operational organizations of the New World Order, One World Government agenda, which Agenda 21 is a big part of. First, we have people like Zbigniew Brzezinski, who said the people are now finally awake, Now, it's unbelievable that finally people are awake. Jay Rockefeller said the internet should never have been invented because people were asleep. Now we can share this information that was very difficult to share before. William Cooper shared a lot of information, unbelievable information. He went into great expense at his personal expense because this was before the internet. This was before that, and he spent thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars shedding, sharing, I should say, all of the knowledge that he had. He made tapes. He did radio shows like I'm doing here, spreading the truth. He also, of course, was targeted by the government and taken down because he was exposing them as to what they were. But then he was a minority. There was not very many people like Bill Cooper, but today we're all Bill Cooper. You know, we're all waking up, and you know, as you wake up and become aware of what's really happening and who's controlling you, and that the money is not really your money. You understand? This is a slave system. I try to be concise explaining it, but this round table controls the ebb and flow of the world. It really does. So what is it? Well, it starts out actually in the Council on Foreign Relations, which the Rockefellers founded in New York. Well, it was actually signed in Paris, but the actual headquarters is in New York in 1921. And from there, all of the agenda and protocol is administered from to the think tanks. Now, the think tank, it is a think tank, but it is a think tank, actually, the Council on Foreign Relations and the people around it. The Trilateral Commission executes this basically for control of the world. The United Nations is really the base of in America, which is really holding force in America. That's why it's interesting if you look at the national parks are all been endowed to the United Nations. I mean, I know people don't believe that. I know it's hard to believe, but it is true. Look it up. I mean, I actually sometimes get depressed, everybody. I mean, I talk about this because this is why I'm doing this. I'm doing this to spread the information. But as I spread the information, I mean, my emotions shift from being, you know, either upset to angry to, but never complacent. And that's the problem. You see, complacency is the issue here. People are too complacent. They deal with what they accept. You know, they accept it, you know, and you know, and if they're not making enough money or they're in bad situations, they try so hard to get around that. That's sort of like, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's terrible, but through adversity comes strength. And, you know, I personally went through a little bit of a hardship for a while in this nightmare that we call a depression. They call a euphemistic recession that ended in 2009. I lost a lot of money and a lot of things, and I almost had to sell my house. Now, thank God I don't have a mortgage on my house, but I lost a lot. Okay, so I don't have to worry about the banks, you know, taking my house. But I lost a lot, and it stopped me from the direction that I was going. This individual direction that every American should have. Follow your dreams, follow your destiny, not this corporate Borg that you're going to become a part of. Getting a job at a major corporation that's underpaying you and enslaving you and overworking you, then the health benefits are all like out through the roof. Now, what we all know is the world, and we all know how everything is. I don't have to tell you how tough it is to fill your gas tank. I don't have to tell you how hard it is to, you know, pay for insurance on your house, on your car, or whatever it is, or even on your health insurance. Of course, is probably your biggest nut. I know that's the biggest nut. I mean, it is. That's insane. Well, who owns the health insurance companies? Look at that. Who owns the pharmaceutical companies? Look at that. Who owns the Federal Reserve? Look at that. Guess what? They're all owned by the same folks, these roundtable people that I'm talking about right now.
That you gave such a strong endorsement for the free trade agreement for all the Americans, subject that has been of great concern to me for many years, and particularly recently. And I think it's absolutely essential for the strength of our economy.
Don't assume it was left by accident. If you see something, say something.
Takes a question from David Rockefeller.
Vice President, I just enjoyed so much your whole speech, but I was particularly pleased.
You can also follow us on wearechange.org, and of course the homepage is wearechange.connecticut.org, and you can watch rebroadcasts at youtube.com/Freedom First Films. I had the privilege, again, I said this yesterday, of attending an Agenda 21 meeting, an anti-Agenda 21 meeting. Good afternoon, this is We Are Change with Howard Nema, and you're listening to InformedRadio.com. If you have any opinions on any subject and that you'd like to speak about, or if you would just like to gripe about how our rights are being taken away and every day, and the prisons are filling up with people that are doing victimless crimes, being overfined, police becoming revenue generators, give me a call, 772-905-3018. This is We Are Change. This is where the news, the controlled mainstream media ignores the top story, and your voice is heard.